Good morning, Congo Nation. I'm Sister Johnson, and welcome to our science lesson. Today is Tuesday, May 5th, 2020. The first thing we're going to do for science is we're going to take our science assessment. We spent the last 3 or 4 weeks, learning about the weather and about seasons. So now it's time to show what you know. You're going to begin this lesson or this class period with Drop Everything and Study. So I want to show you our science study guide so that you're sure of what you should know for today's assessment. Let's take a look. Science study guide. You should know the following: the tools used to measure the weather, weather adjectives. Those are those describing words. How do we describe weather? You should know how the seasons affect the weather, affect plants, and affect animals. You should also know what we wear for each season. And then lastly, how weather and the seasons change. Yabo? So if you know all of these things, you're going to do an excellent job on your assessment. I am going to give you 30 minutes of our class period to study your notes. Yabo? So you're going to refer to the notes from the lesson that Sister Lindsay led on how to measure the weather, and when you observe the different weather outside, you want to refer to those notes. You also want to refer to your notes on weather adjectives and then everything that we learned about the seasons. Yabo? Congo, you're going to set a timer for 30 minutes. You're going to drop everything and study, and then it'll be time to take our assessment. All right, Congo Nation, now that you're finished studying, it's time to show what you know. Please remember, you are taking your assessment by yourself, just as you do in the classroom. You want to work on it independently. Now let's do our affirmation. Repeat after me. I'm an excellent scholar and getting better every day. I'm an excellent test taker and getting better every day. I'm an excellent reader and getting better every day. I'm an excellent scholar and getting better every day. And getting better every day. And getting better every day. All right, scholars, you are excellent. Please complete your science assessment. Please turn to a new page in your composition book and head your paper with your first, last name, the date, the subject, and your heading is Science Assessment. For each question, please write the letter of the correct answer, either A, B, or C. Let's begin. Number 1. What is moving air called? A, clouds, B, weather, or C, wind? Number 2. What is temperature? A, the measure of how wet or dry something is. B, the measure of how hot or cold something is. Or C, the measure of how heavy or light something is. Number 3. What is weather? A, one of the 4 seasons. B, what the air outside is like. Or C, a way to measure temperature. Number 4. What is a season? A time of day. B, a time of the year. Or C, a time of the week. Number 5. What is a weather pattern? A, stormy weather. B, the warmest weather of the year. Or C, a change in weather that repeats. Scholars, I'm going to leave page 1 up for a little while longer. Please feel free to pause the video or rewind it. Moving on to page 2, Science Concepts. Take a look at the picture for number 6. What is the weather in this picture? A, cloudy, B, rainy, or C, sunny. Number 7. Carla wants to measure the rain that falls. Which tool will she use? Tool A, Tool B, or Tool C? Number 8. Hector listens to the weather report each day. What can he learn? A, how to change the weather. B, how weather was the day before. Or C, how to get ready for coming weather. Number 9. What temperature does this thermometer show? A, 57 degrees Fahrenheit. B, 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Or C, 97 degrees Fahrenheit. For number 10, look at the table. What would you take to school on Tuesday? Take a look at the table, look at the weather, and then answer the question, what would you take to school on Tuesday? A, an umbrella, B, sunglasses, or C, gloves. All right, number 11. What is summer? A, the coldest time of the year. B, the coolest time of the year. Or C, the warmest time of the year. Now take a look at the table for number 12. Infer the season this table shows. Look at the weather adjectives for each weekday. What season does this table show? A, spring, B, summer, or C, winter? Number 13. Brother Walid made this table. Each column describes a season. Which one describes summer? Column 1 says, many storms occur. Plants grow fruit. People dress to stay cool. Column 2. Leaves change color. Some animals go to warmer places. People wear jackets to stay warm. Column 3. Snow can fall. Many trees lose their leaves. People wear warm coats. Which column describes summer? A, column 1, B, column 2, or C, column 3? Number 14. What do some animals do in spring? A, they have their young. B, they move to warmer places. Or C, they grow more fur to keep warm. Number 15. Which tree is shown in winter? Tree A, tree B, or tree C? Number 16. Which season comes right before fall? A, spring, B, summer, or C, winter? Number 17. What can you do to try to predict what the weather will be like next week? A, ask a friend. B, look out the window. Or C, look at a weather report for this week. Number 18. Which describes winter? A, few hours of daylight. B, more daylight than in fall. Or C, the most hours of daylight. Congo Nation, we're almost finished. Remember, you can pause this video whenever you need to. Number 19. Write the answers to these questions in your composition book. Number 19. Which picture shows weather? And how do you know? So take a look at those 3 pictures. Which one shows the weather and how do you know? Number 20. Tell one way that the weather changes in fall. Tell one way that the seasonal change affects plants, one way it affects animals, and one way that it affects people. Congo Nation, once you're finished number 20, you are all done. Test takers, I know that you did an amazing job on your assessment, so very good. Excellent work. Now I want to transition into the next part of our lesson. We are going to travel again. So we're going to head back to Africa, but this time we're going to visit a country named Uganda. And in Uganda, their seasons are a little different than ours. So I want to begin, before we read our story and before we travel to Uganda, I want to tell you some background information about Uganda's seasons. So the author of our book today, which is Sing to the Moon, wrote us a letter explaining the inspiration behind his book. Dear reader, have you ever been stuck at home on a rainy day? What did you do? Uganda, which is where my story is set, has 2 rainy seasons, one from March to May, and the other from September to December. That's a lot of rain and a lot of rainy days. This story was inspired by the rainy days I spent with my family in Uganda, listening to tales spun by candlelight. My own Jeja, and Jeja is the Luganda word for grandfather and grandmother, was very fond of books, and he was the keeper of many, many stories. In Uganda, like all places, stories can be found everywhere. So, once the rain ends, if you listen closely, the landscape comes alive. With over 300 mammal species, 1,000 bird species, and 5,000 plant types, Uganda has remarkable wildlife. The sounds of nature tell unique stories of their own. All right, Congos, I wanted you to know about Uganda's seasons. So we have winter, and then spring, and then summer, and then fall. But in Uganda, they have 2 seasons where it rains a lot. And that is what today's story is about. So let's begin. Scholars, welcome to Uganda. Sing to the Moon. Our author is Nansubaga, and the illustrator is Sandra Van Dorn. Make sure you can see the illustration. If I had one wish, I would reach the stars, then ride a supernova straight to Mars. Jaja tells me, sing to the moon, and perhaps my wish will be granted soon. With another wish, I would still go far, across the ocean to Zanzibar. I would sail on a dhow and gaze in wonder at old spice markets till the sun goes under. If I had more wishes, I would surely fly. I would take the crested crane up high. After spotting the forest's mythical beast, I would land at dusk for a monstrous feast. Instead, I awake to the patter of rain and watch the clouds spread like a charcoal stain. I think of the hours with nothing to do except count the drops as they muddle the view. But then I hear steps on the kitchen floor. So slowly I open the wooden door. Jaja is drinking his hot morning tea and tells me that he has been waiting for me. As we eat porridge, I glare at the gloom, announcing that I'm going back to my room. Jaja stands tall and in 1, 2, 3, holds out his hand and says, "Let's go and see." We start in the storeroom to pack away peas, picked when the fields were last humming with bees. Jaja remembers his childhood best friend, a boy called Karabu, whose smile did not end. We clear the veranda of wet bamboo leaves, while Jaja recalls climbing up guava trees. I say I love hiding in guava trees too, and he tells me that's something he never knew. The sun slowly sets, the day splits in two. I help clean tilapia for the fish stew. Jaja shares memories of trips as a child when he and his father would fish in the wild. With daylight now gone and the dark settled in, Jaja says our night adventures begin. He slowly unveils his tall tower of books where he has stacked stories of bold kings and crooks. By light of a candle, we turn over pages of long ago fables passed down through the ages. Tales of lost cities and great heaps of gold, African kingdoms and sights to behold. And then Jaja leaps to his feet to retell the story of how the sky rose and then fell. He thrills me with thunderous bangs and kabooms. Then he shoos me outside where the brilliant night croons. We hear fires dance and the echo of drums, friends making meals and the grasshoppers hum. And Jaja reminds me that I'm always loved by even the brightest of stars up above. With one last glance at the shining night sky, we bid the sweet sounds of the evening goodbye. I know then that even new worlds far away couldn't compare to this one rainy day. The end. Yeah, scholars, I hope that you enjoyed that story. So now that we're finished reading, let's look at our comprehension questions that you're responsible for answering. Sing to the Moon comprehension questions. Number 1, what was the weather in Sing to the Moon? Number 2, what is different about the seasons where we live and the seasons in Uganda? Number 3, how did the main character feel about experiencing a rainy day? And 4, it's a 2-part question. How would you feel if you experienced months of rain? What things could you do with your family to remain positive? Please complete these questions in your composition books. Mighty scientists, we have come to the end of our lesson. Before you go, please remember to take a picture of your assessments and your read aloud comprehension questions and send them to our nation's email at sfacs.us. Once you're finished doing that, Congo Nation, you're going to enjoy lunch. And please don't forget to head over to Sister Sabrina's page for your physical education class. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you on Thursday.